I was born in a Catholic family. My father was a Catholic and my mother was an Adventist. I was baptized when I was 3 or 4, like that, the first time. I got baptized in Adventist church when I was 12. Because after that, I really hate to go to Sabbath. It was finding boring things like that. I was heading to play pool in the evening, and a friend of mine called me and invited me to go to George Cell. And when I found there, I was wondering, okay, it's some guys will be singing and saying, reading the Bible, praying, things like that, okay.
We all were so excited to see him, though it was his first time, and we invited him and we just made him feel at home.
It was not the image I had of the Christianity in that moment.
He just needs to come over and over until he can't stop coming. That's what I told him.
And I came the next Wednesday also, and I found interesting the conversation and the way people are interacting.
Our cell is a family, and it's a loving place. Yeah.
I had the wrong impression about the church.
And I was very intentional with Gilbert because I will call him for lunch. We'll go sit with him and talk with him. Just listen to him. He'll tell me how he feels about Christianity, how he thinks. I mean, he doesn't need to get saved now, but I will listen to him. But I'll tell him, I know with time you will come to give your life to Jesus, which is important. I thought it would be cool for him to just get some bit of information about Christianity, because I thought the picture he had about Christianity with a lot of, you know, when he talks, he's so philosophical and all that. But I thought if he comes to servant leadership, I really thought it would just make him think through again about his life.
I took the training to satisfy my curiosity.
He came in, a big smile on his face, sat down with his big backpack, ready to take notes. So I was excited. I didn't know him. I didn't know anything about him.
I learned that if you want people to help other people, you have to show them love, not expecting anything from them. So I found it important to me.
He was having a conversation with a fellow student, and he just said that he wasn't saved. He hadn't given his life to Christ. So I was like, oh, isn't that interesting? Okay, so we had a conversation a little bit, and I just asked him why he hadn't given his life to Christ, and he just said, I'm just taking my time. I'm trying to find things out.
I had this image that when you have to commit your life to Christ, you must be this good Christian thing.
And I just said to him, you know, Gilbert, here's the thing. Here's how we see it at CLA. If I give you the certificate, I am saying that you are going to be a leader in this church. And I asked him, do you feel like you are ready to be a leader? And he said, no, I'm not ready.
On the Sunday, the 9th of May, I came to church and I talked to Rachel.
I don't know how it happened, except it was God. Gilbert met me somewhere in the hallway and we started talking, and I started to ask him, Gilbert, what's your hesitation in giving your life to Christ? And he was like, I'm not really a good enough Christian yet.
After a discussion of her, I understood that it's a step of being a good Christian. You start from the basic level and you grow up in God's love.
It was amazing that the scriptures that I used with Gilbert in the morning, Pastor Marty used some of those same scriptures in his sermon.
So I stopped worrying about my Christianity and how I'm a saint, things like that. So I gave my life to Jesus. So I started the journey.
Wow, it's like a baby being born. I mean, I just got so excited. I mean, I wish you saw, even the following Wednesday in cell, it was just a time of celebration, him sharing and us listening to him and him telling us how it felt and all that. It's celebration. I mean, the cell needs to stop. I mean, when someone is born again.
I knew George had an input in his life, and I knew his cell had a massive input in his life.
Unless people are told, how will they know?
If no one had told him, you know, where would he be? And I think it's incredible that we have such an incredible testimony that friendship evangelism works, that we need to be able to reach out to those that are lost, not by huge crusades, but simply by loving people to Jesus.
At the end of the day, he found love in the cell. That was one thing that I really thank God.
It is an incredible joy to see his smile now. There's something different about him. When he smiles Jesus somehow.
I'm happy. I don't know how I can say it, but I'm just happy.